Alright, so what's going on, guys? It looks like we are live right now, and I wanted to quickly apologize about everyone that's on a notification squad that got an update that I was just live. I was actually playing around with just my live streaming app real quick, and all of a sudden I looked down, it said that that's been live for like a whole minute. So you guys are just sitting there watching me just like stare at a computer screen for a little bit, not knowing what was going on, but I wasn't really doing much, so I thought I might just hop in here on a quick live stream. I'm trying to figure out this live stream game just because I want to try to go live a little bit more and kind of bring on some new ideas. Maybe start going live with some other YouTubers. So, because I want to start maybe talking a little bit more about like the NFL in general. Because as you guys all know, this channel is strictly Jaguars, but I would like to go around the league a little bit and talk about just some, different league-wide stuff like free agency and draft and stuff like that. But, I do want to keep my content to Jaguars-only content. But, you know what I mean? Maybe like every other week or something like that, coming on here and doing like maybe like a 1 hour live stream. And I want to almost do it kind of like a radio show where, I kind of bring up some topics, discuss it with somebody else, and then like tomorrow I want to have Jet Central on the stream, so, we can come on here and just talk about all kinds of different issues. I'd love to talk about like the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes or, quarterbacks, and of course like the NFL draft, and, just all kinds of stuff. A lot of good topics right now to talk about right now, and like the NFL calendar really never sleeps, you know what I mean? I'm going to give a quick shout out to some of the people in the comments section. Christian Starks is first. What's going on, man? He was like one of the comments that I saw from when I was doing nothing in a live stream. So what's going on, Christian? The Naples Jaguar. What's going on, man? Naples Jag actually has a YouTube channel, a Jaguars YouTube channel. He's posted a couple of videos up there. You can find him at like B&H Football Gods or something like that. Yo, Hunter, drop your your channel name down in the link so some of these people can't subscribe to you. Be spooky. It's Daddy UCF. You already know. I eat spinach. What's up, bro? Naples Jag, Lamar Jackson to the Jags. Be spooky. I defended Bortles for you. Randy Waters says, Duval till we die. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining the stream. Adam Atherton, love your videos. Keep it up. Appreciate it, man. Rodney Terrell, what's up, man? What's going on, homie? SLC Seahawk, Chris Ivory is gone. Hell yeah. That I kind of expected that to happen. Chris Ivory, you couldn't really cut him last year because the contract wasn't really friendly to that, but, we were able to cut him and save $3.5 million toward the cap, and right now we're going to have to be very picky about where we allocate our money, just because I'm trying to look toward the future, and you know what I mean, like everyone's kind of talking about signing this tight end, that wide receiver, this offensive lineman, but you know what I mean, if you look at where we want to be tomorrow, there are teams out, there are players like Jalen Ramsey. You're going to have to pay Jalen Ramsey all the money bags you have. I mean, that dude's going to be the richest cornerback in the NFL. You also want to pay a guy like Yannick Ngakoue. Those are the two guys from the 2016 NFL draft that we're really going to need to re-sign. Miles Jack is probably third priority amongst that. Just, cornerback and defensive end, like pass rush and defensive end, they're a lot. They're premier positions as opposed to like a linebacker. So definitely want to lock that up. Adam Atherton and Rodney Terrell are asking about Al Robinson. Yeah, Al Robinson, man. I saw Mike K from News for Jax. I think he's with News for Jax. He basically said, he had an interview with Al Robinson. Al Robinson said they've had no conversations of any kind of long-term deal. They haven't talked about it since like the training camp before he got injured, and that's interesting. I mean, the thing is, it's not like I would be shocked if Al Robinson isn't on the team next year. Now, the franchise tag is so easy. You just franchise tag a guy, and the player will have nothing, no, won't really be able to say anything about it. They get franchise tagged, and it's definitely a team friendly thing as opposed to player friendly. So, I mean, he might get, he's coming off an injury. 2016 wasn't his best year, so maybe a 1 year prove it deal would be the best kind of thing for him. Yankees fan says Duval. Ronaldo says Bortles getting cut. I don't think so. Jeff Singer from Canada, love from Canada. I think we sign A-Rob. Your thoughts? Yeah, definitely, man. Like A-Rob, I mean, we may not sign him to like a 5 year, however many dollar deal, but I think he definitely gets a franchise tag. There's just no way. I mean, our offense this year was severely missing a number one wide receiver, and you have a guy that you could easily slap a franchise tag on. And, if we don't re-sign A-Rod, then we have a huge hole at wide receiver, and we're going to have to address that, through the top 2-3 rounds in the draft. And, you know what I mean? When you go into a draft, you want to be able to have flexibility to where you're able to draft best available players. So, yeah, I mean, you've got to resign. Like if it's on a long-term deal, you got to slap a franchise tag on him so we can lock him up for another year. Jeffrey Grissom, who do you want in the draft, bro? I'm not. Wait, Naples Jag. What are you saying? Blake Bortles is getting cut. I don't think you understand. Yeah, I didn't say that. That was Reynaldo. But Jeffrey Grissom, who do you want in the draft? Yeah. I'm not sure Tutu yet. Like just sure Tutu yet. Like with me, when it comes to like the NFL calendar, like I don't look too far ahead to the draft just yet, just because I'm going to be like so drafted out by the time the draft comes. Where right now I'm looking toward free agency to see what goes on there. See if we decide to who we sign, who we don't sign. Like my thoughts on a draft, like if, for example, if we, sign Al Robinson, then it'd be nice to maybe go offensive lineman, like an interior guard, like Hernandez out of, I believe, UTEP, and, like an offensive lineman kind of Mahler, or maybe a tight end, like Hayden Hurst and, Andrews from Oklahoma. But if we somehow don't re-sign Al Robinson, then all of a sudden we have a huge hole at receiver. Then all of a sudden you might want to look at a Cortland Sutton type player. But I'm all aboard on best available player. I do think that Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, they're going to want to build the trenches up, just because we have to improve our play of the offensive line. Our offensive line got weaker as the season went on. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it is. Offensive line, they get injured a lot. With us wanting to be kind of a run heavy team, we had to get some better guard play in there, so we can open up some holes for Leonard Fournette. He's a downhill type of runner, likes to run in between the center and guard, and there just wasn't enough push up there between like AJ Cann and Patrick Omame and whatever else was playing at left guard, because it seemed like it was a real revolving door there. But yeah. Trevin Griffin says, do we re-sign A-Rob or do we re-sign Yeldon? He has 1 year left on his contract, so he's cheap. He'll definitely stay on a team next year. But when it comes to a deal, I mean, we'll see at the end of next year. I mean, the guy is definitely a number 2 type of player, and yeah, I mean, we'll see. Ronnie Terrell, no, we need to keep Bortles and draft Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at some more film review of Jackson kind of after the free just kind of passes. But I like Lamar Jackson. The dude is he's the closest thing to Michael Vick that I've ever really seen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just saying that just because he's this speedy black quarterback. Like, I mean, if you look at Deshaun Watson, he looks just like Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson, he's the closest thing I've seen to Mike Vick. Just high, tight, quick release, really fast. A lot of people knock him because he did a lot of running in college, but he's not calling plays out there, and it works. You know what I mean? If it works, you just got to go back to it. And if the Jaguars get Lamar Jackson, if you compare, let's say, Lamar Jackson versus Mason Rudolph, if you draft Mason Rudolph, then he's going to sit on the bench probably his whole first year, or unless, something happens to Bortles. But, if Bortles plays like he did last year, Mason Rudolph will be on the bench the whole season. At least if, Bortles plays like he did at the tail end of last season. But if you draft Lamar Jackson, you could potentially put in some packages for him. And I'm not saying do it like the Florida Gators did back when Tim Tebow was a freshman and he had Chris Leak on a team where you just went in there and pounded him. You see how run pass options are being used in the NFL lately, and that could be an option. Put in some packages for him, do some kind of trickery. We'll see, but yeah, I honestly don't think Lamar Jackson will be available. I think he gets drafted, around 15s at latest. When I come out with a mock draft, I'll come out with a mock draft probably a week or two before the NFL draft, and I would expect Lamar Jackson to be drafted pretty early. I think he'll be kind of like Deshaun Watson, where there's a lot of people that are be projecting him going into the second round. But when it all comes down to it, teams are desperate at quarterback, and there'll be teams trading up for him if they need to. So yeah. Ryan Westforth says Eifert would be a good addition if he was able to come at a reasonable price. People are talking about getting Jimmy Graham. Honestly, I would rather go cheaper and sign a guy like, like Trey Burton or something like that. Just because, Jimmy Graham, why? Jimmy Graham, he hasn't proved, he went to the Seahawks and he was just a bust, all he is just, a popular name. That'd almost be like bringing in Julius Thomas. It's like, okay, they had, years where they played under Hall of Fame quarterbacks and they went to a different team and then just wasn't able to produce, Like, Eifert, very injury prone. I'd rather get a player that we can rely on, a player that's not, I don't want to pay a bunch of money to one of these tight ends. We are going to have to, be very conscious of the salary cap these next couple years and really sign players that we want to make an impact. I think tight ends, you can even, if you look at some of the best, some of the tight ends that have had really good success in the NFL, let's look at what's the similarities between Antonio Gates, between, what's it called? I don't know why I'm drawing a break. Like, what's it called? Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Julius Thomas, Jimmy Graham. All these guys were basketball players that converted into tight ends. Like, I just feel like tight ends, you can potentially draft one in the middle rounds and then, get a guy that, can basically, come in there and out, kind of like get a project type of player is what I'm saying, and then see what he's got. I just don't believe in overpaying tight ends. I think you can really develop them, kind of like running backs, where you can find steals like that. So, I'm not all for just spending a bunch of money on tight ends, to be honest with you. Sorry, it was kind of weird. I wasn't doing a very good job explaining that, but whatever. But yeah, like if I were to draft a tight end high, like in the first round, I would want him to be a very, very good run blocker and pass blocker and pass catcher, I should say, because I don't want to just get a guy that can only catch passes but is a, liability in the run game, because the offense's identity is the run game. We aren't the Patriots. We're not the Eagles, where we're going to be throwing the ball 50 times a game. That's not how our team is built. So, that's not how our team is built. I just feel like if we can get a guy that's also a good run blocker that can kind of fill the shoes of Mercedes Lewis eventually. We've been trying to replace Mercedes Lewis for so long. You know what I mean? We Julius Thomas would try to replace him. Didn't work out. Mike Rivera, the dude gets injured. So, we'll see. Stewie says Jags need to draft a running back on day 3. I do agree with that. I think we should try to find a running back sleeper just because we need somebody to be a good change of pace from Leonard Fournette. And I'd like a guy like a speedster, you know what I mean? Kind of like Kamara. Could you imagine having Alvin Kamara and Leonard Fournette just on the same team? All of a sudden, everyone's talking about how good Mark Ingram is, but Mark Ingram didn't become good until he had Kamara. And, if you can find a running back steal and pair him up with Leonard Fournette, that'd be crazy. I mean, TJ Yeldon, he's an all right guy. He seems kind of like almost like a morph between, he almost seems like a morph between like a wide receiver and a running back. And, he just doesn't have that breakaway speed that I'd like to be able to have. I'd like the guy to be able to, have some, be able to complement, Leonard Fournette. He's a downhill runner. He'll hit you right in the mouth. But if we can bring back in there a guy who's really like agile, I don't think that they like Corey Grant enough. Like, there's got to be some, maybe it's his pass block. There's got to be some reason why they won't play him. But, I'm not too sure. And, I have some people talking about Sony Michel. I like Sony Michel, but he's not going to get out of the second round. And, if you look at it, we can't be drafting a running back in the second round. Look what we've invested in the running back position. You gave Chris Ivory a fat 5-year, like $30 million contract. He cost a lot of money when he was on a team. You drafted TJ Yeldon in the second round. You drafted, Leonard Fournette in the first round. You can't draft, 3 running backs in the top 2 rounds out of 4 years. It's not how it should be. So, running back day 3, I would try to get some kind of playmaker in there, see what you can get. But yeah. Let's see what else we got saying. Geis from LSU. Yeah, he's good, but yeah, like I said, we can't be investing high picks. Like, we need to invest in the trenches, get another offensive lineman, defensive lineman. A lot of people will say that, oh, we're stacked at defensive line, but like I said, I'm looking for tomorrow. We might be good in 2018 at defensive line, but look how much money we have in the interior of the offensive line. We have Marcel Darius. We have who else we have? Avery Jones, Malik Jackson. 3 really high-paid guys, and at least one of those guys will not be on the team in 2019. Most likely, probably Avery Jones, because he's either Avery Jones or Marcel Darius. I would think that Malik Jackson stays, but we'll see. JJ, yeah, it's going to be 4 different positions in those first 4 rounds. Yeah, we'll see what the Jaguars do wind up doing. I think that, I just feel like with knowing Tom Coughlin and stuff like that, I just feel like there's going to be probably a run on offensive linemen in that late in the first round. I think, it's not all that fun drafting offensive linemen, but it's still cool. SLC Seahawks says, what's the weather like down there? I live in Orlando, Florida, and the weather is beautiful. It's like 70. It was like 70, 75 degrees out today. Luckily, it's getting a little bit hotter. And when I say, honestly, when it drops below 60 degrees, I'm cold. So it's nice to feel some heat. Love the hot weather. And yeah. Stewie says Ralph Webb from Vandy is a talented running back. Yeah, I haven't done too much homework on kind of the late round guys. Like I said, by the time the draft comes, I just get so drained from draft talk. We're still over 2 months away from the NFL draft. You know what I mean? And there'll be a lot of time to talk about it to the point where we're almost beating a dead horse. But at this point, man, I'm just really excited for free agents to come here. Mostly because I'm just so tired of all the Kirk Cousins talk. I can understand if I can understand if you're not in support of Blake Bortles. You know what I mean? Like you guys all know, if you watch my videos, I, do want Blake Bortles to be a starting quarterback next year. I don't want to go after like a Kirk Cousins just because I don't know how much of an upgrade he is from Blake Bortles. I don't think Kirk Cousins puts you over the top. If this isn't Drew Brees or this isn't Peyton Manning reaching the market. Kirk Cousins, I look at the way Blake Bortles finished off the season. He started off, kind of shaky, but you look at the way he ended it, and he ended it really good. He elevated his play through the playoffs. The Steelers and Patriots games, he played really good games. Now, if you look at the final play, the throw to Westbrook, there really wasn't much open on that play. And with Blake Bortles, I just feel like, Kirk Cousins, for the amount of money that he's going to be getting, I heard the Jets are trying to give him like $60 million, year one or something like that. Like, no thanks. You know what I mean? I'd rather draft our future guy or just like roll Blake Bortles. He's 25 years old. I think he's still improving. If you look at the playoffs, even the Bills game, he didn't play all that well, throwing the ball, but the guy started running with his legs and he did what he needed to do to win the game. I mean, that's kind of, that's improvising. That's, something that you got to respect. That's really greedy of him, man. Yeah, I mean, we'll see with that one. Ronnie Terrell, he is not an upgrade for the money. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's clearly better than Blake Bortles, I think, but that is fat stacks you're going to pay the dude. And, if I'm the Jets, I understand that because, they're kind of in the upswing of things. They have a lot of money and they can really plan around it a lot. The Jaguars, if they go after Kirk Cousins, then they're going to have to cut some guys. You know what I mean? I think it's probably a sign. They re-sign Mercedes Lewis. They probably wouldn't have done that if they're going after Kirk Cousins, but yeah. Stewie says Jags top free agency target. Allen Robinson. I would definitely say Allen Robinson. If not Allen Robinson, if I'm going to go high money, then maybe Josh Sitton. But I think that Josh Sitton, the guard out of the Chicago Bears, also a UCF guy, I must say. But I think the Jaguars keep it low key during free agency. I think from here on out, our big free agency splashes are going to be players that we've re-signed from our own team. I don't know how much more we're going to be giving like $90 million out to guys like Malik Jackson. And, I feel like now we have to start re-signing our homegrown guys and most importantly, being able to draft guys, replace them. You know what I mean? Like the draft, if you can have successful drafts every year where we're hitting on like, at least three to four players each draft to, be really good players. Kind of like in 2016, the way we got Jalen Ramsey, Yannick Ngakoue, and Miles Jack in the first 3 rounds. Man, if you can hit on picks like that, last year we had Leonard Fournette, and then, you had Cam Robinson, and then, in the 4th round you go and get, Westbrook. They're hitting on guys. If you can keep hitting on these guys to where when, these expensive guys, we have to let them walk, we have great players to be able to fill right in their shoes. So, yeah, my free agency target, I guess I should say, would be Allen Robinson. Alonzo Bradley, every time Grant touches the ball, he could take it to the house. Yeah, but for whatever reason, the coaches don't like him. I don't know why I don't give him the ball more. I don't know if it's pass protection or if they're just... I mean, I do understand a way because it took me a while to get on the Corey Grant train just because he's a little dude and, he's not going to really truck anybody. But, man, that dude's fast. He is so fast. JJ, why didn't Blake Bortles ever run against the Pats? The Pats went in with a game plan to be able to stop Blake Bortles from running the ball. There really wasn't all that much space for him to run. And, if you heard Bill Belichick's in the press conferences leading up to it, he was basically saying, Blake Bortles, he has a really good ability to run the ball. And they went in with a game plan to be able to stop that, and they did. So, got to respect them for that. We got people talking about the Jags' new unis. Yeah, the Jags, hopefully all black helmets. People are talking about gold helmets. I don't know if gold would look good with teal uniforms. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just too contrasting. I think they want to go back to an old-fashioned look. So, man, if we can just get black helmets on teal uniforms, just make it look sharp, I'd be all about that. I love teal. As you can see, forever teal. And teal has been the identity of the Jaguars. So, we need to keep that up. I'm going to plug I'm at like 10% battery. I'll probably be streaming for another maybe 10-15 minutes. I wasn't really planning on doing a stream, but I went live, so had to come back on, you know what I mean? Alonzo Bradley, Jack's helmet should be all gold. Yeah, he's saying all gold. The Sports Fury, what's going on, man? Mr. Josh / Sean, whichever one you are. Hill Bradley. Isaac Ross says, AJ is my boy. Hell yeah. I think they made shirts like that. I think Gen Chat makes shirts, AJ is my boy. But I'm really pumped I'm pumped for the new uniforms to come out because I want to get a couple new jerseys to put back there. I'm not going to say whose jerseys I'm going to get just yet, but we'll see. SLC Seahawks says black helmets with teal face mask. Yeah, teal face mask would be cool, but you know, I mean, it may look a little bit tacky for Tom Coughlin. He's kind of an old school guy, so I don't know if he's going to want to, you know, do anything that flashy. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But, you know, I'm excited about the new unis. I tried to like the black and the two-tone black and gold helmets, but they were they were ugly. They were ugly. I'm sorry. It's just the sports series says it's both of us watching, no pressure. That is pressureful. I don't know what to talk about. Don't know what to do with my hands. But yeah, I mean, where do you guys think Kirk Cousins will end up? I think Jets. You know what I mean? I feel like the Jets would be a good landing spot for him just because, first of all, they have a lot of money. And I feel like the Jets, they overplay the talent level that they have, you know? In 2015, they went like 10-6 or something like that. Last year, everyone was projecting them to be like the worst team in the league. They were projecting them to be worst team in like all time. But they outplayed that. I think they went like 4-12 or 5-11. So beat the Jaguars obviously. So yeah, I mean, if not there, like I could see Broncos also, but does Kirk Cousins want to go there just because the Broncos right now, they have a lame duck head coach? I mean, I don't see Vance Joseph being able to make it past next year. He almost got fired this year, but I don't think John Elway wanted to fire dude after 1 year. But you know what I mean? They don't really have much offensive talent. They don't have any running backs. You know, the receiving game, they're talking about letting Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas go. So yeah, I mean, we'll see with that. The sports series says Jets have to be the top option just because of the money they can offer. We think Vikings are a better situation. Yeah, the Vikings, that's an interesting situation over there. 3 free agent quarterbacks, you know, like between Case Keenum, Sam Bradford, and Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, they have no idea what the hell the Vikings fans, I should say, have no idea what their quarterback situation is going to be next year. It'll be interesting to see. I'm really fascinated to see what winds up happening with Teddy Bridgewater. You know, is he going to go somewhere? Like, I think, like, the Cardinals had to be kind of licking their chops, and, you know, there's going to be some players wanting to go there just because they don't really have any quarterbacks over there right now. And, you know, Teddy Bridgewater, you know, what if Teddy Bridgewater and AJ McCarron were to go there and fight for, like, a starting job? That'd be kind of cool in my eyes. You know what I mean? If they were to go over there, that'd be like a legitimate quarterback competition. And yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens to SLC Seahawk. I say Vikings or possibly Bills could be dark horse. Yeah, the Bills are talking about perhaps retaining Tyrod Taylor. Now the Bills are interesting because they have they have those back-to-back picks, so you know, they have pretty good ammunition to move up into the top 10 of the NFL draft. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But, man, the Browns really lucked out with the Texans sucking this year. I mean, you know, the Texans, they're a good team that just got kind of, like, injury-riddled. You know, I would expect them to be back next year. But, man, like, they were really clicking when they had, you know, Deshaun Watson healthy and then when they had their defensive guys. But it's just a case of the injury bug, and that's one thing that's like scary. You know what I mean? Like the Jaguars, we all think they're gonna be good next year, but man, what if you got hit with an injury bug and then like all these guys getting injured? I mean, luckily for us, you know, it was good stuff for us because we were able to have, you know, our guys stay. Sorry, it said it was buffering, but we were able to have pretty much our whole entire defense stay healthy the whole year. I believe the only starter that even missed any starts was Telvin Smith, and you know that's crazy. Stewie's, is Puz gonna be brought back? I would think Puz comes back. if he's willing to take a hometown discount, just because, man, there's got to be some teams around the league that would like to use him for 100% of snaps. But, yeah, I mean, if he wants to come back, I mean, he's valuable to our defense, knows all the calls, a very smart player, very good in the locker room. So, it would definitely be cool to see him come back. Texas fan 445 said, "What's up, UCF? What's going on, man?" Everson says, "Nice. Blake Bortles can't win you a Super Bowl." He got us close, man. I mean, if Nick Foles can do it, anyone can. But I mean, the way Blake Bortles was playing in the postseason, man, he could have. SL Seahawks, I'm just fucking pissed. Seahawks signed Jason Myers. Yeah, I mean, he was ass, but I mean, if you look at Josh Lambo, San Diego Chargers fans hated him, and then they cut him, and then his second time around, he was able to really capitalize. So, maybe he can go there. Yeah, Ronnie Terrell says, but our DM better coaching can. I mean, yeah, Blake Bortles, if you're going to put him around bad talent, then he's not going to put a team, he's not like Tom Brady where you can put a bunch of nobodies around him and he'll go like win you a Super Bowl. But, you know what I mean? How can you say Blake Bortles can't win you a Super Bowl if he was literally that close to going to a Super Bowl? Our defense basically let up a 10-point lead with 8 minutes left in the game. The coaches, we had the ball 4 possessions in a fourth quarter, and every single first down you ran the ball and you got 1 yard, 2 yards, 0 yards, -2 yards. I mean, the play calling I thought was atrocious, and I don't put that Patriots game on Blake Bortles. Now, could Blake Bortles have, made plays and won us that game? Sure, but so could the other guys. Westbrook could have, caught that ball and kept running. Leonard Fournette could have maybe dove for the ball. The defense could have made a play and not let up 10 points. Not let them convert on a third and, 19 or something like that. And then they later went on to score. So, yeah, I mean, Blake Bortles didn't lose us that game. Alonzo Bradley, was anyone else pissed when Jimmy G was slicing through our defense in San Francisco, exposed the whole secondary and linebackers? With those final 2 games, I mean, we lost those 2 games, but they weren't even losses. I mean, they literally had nothing to play for. I mean, sure, they had home field advantage, but, the playbook was so closed, especially that Tennessee Titans game. I mean, they weren't trying to show anything. And, sure, they're going to say, come out there and, sure they're going to come out there and say, sorry, I kind of lost track of my thought, but sure they're going to say, oh yeah, we're going to basically let everything go and we're going to try to win this game. But the players aren't stupid. They know what's going on. You know what I mean? The players, they know what's going on and can try to play their hearts out, but playbook was closed. They weren't doing anything. So yeah, but all right, guys, that's probably, I'm on here for 30 minutes. That's probably about all I was planning to get on here for, but I'm probably about to kill this stream right quick. And yeah, I mean, thank you guys all for watching. I'll probably be going live again tomorrow night, probably doing something with Jet Central, but we shall see. But all right, guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in.